And again, this is why consolidation of your forces is so important, because the minute you have enemy in between you and other friendly forces, your field of fire is completely shut off, and you're likely, when you are pulling the trigger, you have a good chance that you're going to shoot some of your own guys. Yeah. So that's, again, why consolidations of forces is very, very important. Now, I say this all the time. I'll make the caveat again. Are there times where you can get away with splitting your forces, and are there times that it makes sense? Yes, absolutely. There are times that it makes sense. And we did all kinds of operations overseas where we had different units out on the battlefield that were split up and maneuvering from different areas. We did it all the time. But you have to know and understand the risks. You have to know and understand the risks of splitting forces, of having enemy in between, of trying to consolidate back together, which is very, very difficult. You just have to really think about what the risks are and how you can mitigate those risks. Sometimes you can do it with a terrain feature. You can put guys in a certain area where, hey, I have free fire because you're down behind a knoll, or you're in a ravine where I know that I can't shoot you. That's the type of thing that you can do to mitigate. But it is something that people think they can get away with. And, matter of fact, we were doing FTX.
Sure.
And it was interesting. We had one of the females during the planning phase. We have them plan just a couple operations just to sort of get used to planning before we start the actual FTX. This is, for those of you that don't know, we have a company called Echelon Front, and sometimes we do field training exercises with the companies we're working with to get them to help instill in them the fundamental principles of combat leadership. So it was funny, this one female, she had come up with this plan, and they were going to enter this target building from two different directions.
You're talking about the classroom portion.
Yes, the classroom portion, the day before. Yeah. And she actually, I said, well, we've said keep it simple, and it can be a little bit confusing if you start entering a building from two different sides, and you've got guns pointed at each other, and you've got to be careful that you don't shoot each other. Mm-hmm. And she literally said, I just don't see how it's going to happen that we could go into this building and we're just going to start shooting each other.
Yeah.
Of course, I smiled on the inside.
Sure.
And said, okay. And literally the next day during the FTX phase of the training, which we're using airsoft weapons and you're shooting at bad guys, they came up with a plan, entered a building from two sides, and she entered the building and literally shot one of her own people.
Yep.
She did exactly what she didn't think could happen. Yeah. And that's what people have to understand. Now, you might think, oh, well, it's this girl or this female and she's not a military person and it's, that's why it happened. No, I saw SEALs do it on the regular. Yeah. You're all hyped up.
Yeah.
You go in that room, you see a person moving, crack.
Yeah.
Crack them. Fire a couple of shots. And then you realize what happened. So that's what's going on here. Split forces. Things are going crazy.